Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I apologize again for being away and not filming as much as I promised. To be honest, last 3 months been really hectic in my life, and my cat is trying to smell the tripod and play with it. I don't want him to drop the camera. Anyway, so yeah, it's been quite busy, and a lot of new beginnings, a lot of new experiences, a lot of stress as well, and just yeah, it was like over the top for me, to be honest. So in my last video, I believe that I mentioned to you that I finished my uni last December. So if you're new to my channel, I've been studying nursing for the past 3.5 years full-time. I started from TAFE, enrolled nursing, diploma of enrolled nursing, and then I took a pathway to uni and I've done my Bachelor of Nursing Science. So I just finished last December, and then before finishing my uni, I've also applied for a grad position with QLD Health, particularly Metro North side of it, because this is where I live north areas of Brisbane, and I was waiting for them to call me and offer a position as a grad RN student. So yeah, so that's what's been going on in the beginning of this year. Then after I finished my uni, while I was waiting for the hospitals to call me to offer grad position, I thought, okay, I'm not gonna be just waiting for that only and do nothing about my new position, because I finished uni, I applied for the license, so I was holding already RN, registered nurse license, and I thought, okay, you don't know when they call you, you know, the time is passing, I better start to apply somewhere, you know, to start working as RN while I'm waiting for the position from the hospital to come. So that was a little bit hard because I had no experience working as RN, and it's completely different from EN, because now you're in charge of the whole team, you're in charge of your enrolled nurses, you're in charge of your AANs, you know, and for me, when you don't have experience like that, of course, it is very scary. And so I thought to myself, okay, there is no way to like apply to the hospitals, because they would need you to have experience at least 1 year. This is why we have these grad programs going on, to kind of like let you step in, you know, get your experience and then move on from there. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna apply to aged care facilities. And for me it was two ways, so either to apply to aged care facilities directly or to apply through the agencies. Okay, I chose the first option because through the agencies I didn't want to do it, because I wanted to kind of work in one facility, and if they would employ me, then I would know my residents, I would know my team, you know. And for me, as a person who had no experience working as RN, I thought that would be the best option. So I went on Seek and I started to pick the aged care facilities that were near my area, like the nearest to my home, so that I would have least distance to drive. And I picked 5 facilities, okay, and I applied through all of them. All of them answered me, and I went through 4 interviews. So 4 out of 5 invited me for the interviews. I had interviews face-to-face. It would be either one person interviewing you or 2. They would be giving you scenarios to answer, give your opinion, you know, some policies and procedures in general in nursing. So they just want to know whether you're a safe practitioner or not, and how much knowledge you hold. Nobody would be judging you or anything like that, because they were understanding that I was a grad, so I just finished my uni, you know, I'm newly fresh. Then you would have your calculation medication exam, or like a task. They would give you something, you know, so you could show your knowledge, and they will check you, you know, if you do any errors and stuff like that. And then they would have like, some of the aged care facilities would have like I wouldn't say it's a questionnaire, it would be like a database online when you would go and you would answer more questions there. So, and you would act upon certain scenarios as well. So you would do that in person on an interview because they would want to meet you face to face, and then one of their requirements would be to go online and answer all the things there. So that would be like a manual handling as well. They just want to know whether you are safe for yourself and for the patient as well, if you know how to manually handle them when you transfer, turning patients and all of that. So it was a lot of things for me to do, because when I applied for aged care facilities, I remember I had about 3 or 4 days off at my old job in aged care where I was working before that, and I thought to myself, okay, I have to use this time to apply for jobs. So I pretty much applied to all these 5 aged care facilities at the same time. So when they started to reply back to me, it was happening again, all like one after another. And when they were inviting me for the interviews, that was happening as well, one after another. So it was like a lot of stress going on for me. But once I finished one interview and then had the second one and then third, I was feeling more confident, like more and more confident, because I was kind of already knew what was going on, what type of questions they were asking. And once you like, when you're really scared, you know, and you went for the first interview and it's finished and you feel relieved, then that level of being scared is not as high as it was with the first interview when you go to the second and third and so on, you know. So that was a good experience. So after all of that, I was accepted to all 4 of them, okay. 2 of them accepted me pretty much at the same time. It was kind of funny. So my current aged care where I'm working now, they were really priding themselves of hiring people who are new grads, because they like to teach us. They know we're fresh, our minds are clear. We've been taught at unis the latest updates of the healthcare system, so anything new, more improved, more safe, been taught to us. So we are not like someone who's been maybe in a workforce for like 20 years. Yes, yet they're very experienced, but sometimes person who's been working in the workforce for 20 years might be very difficult to change their mindset and their practices to something more updated that's coming every year. There are people like that. So we as a fresh students, you know, fresh graduates, the company who hired me, they really like the graduates, because they can teach us and they can kind of continue this right, safe practice with all the new updates that's been going on now. So this company who hired me, I remember I had a small interview with them on a phone, you know, and they literally just 5 minutes drive from my home. And I remember the manager, she just said to me, would you like to come for an interview now? I was like, now as when? And she was like, today. Like, can you come in about half an hour? You live, you know, such and such address. And I was like, yeah, that's right. So she was like, it's only 5 minutes away, would you like to come and we can interview you? I was like, yeah, okay, definitely. So I dressed up, I went, I had my interview, you know, and they said to me, we will call you shortly and we will let you know whether you were successful or not. And then they called me the next day and they told me that I was successful. And I was like so happy. The company is really nice. They have a new building built by QUT. We have a QUT university here in Queensland, which is really cool uni. And they designed the whole building for my company where I work now at this moment. And it's a beautiful 4-story building. I love it so much. The environment is so cool. The team is so nice as well. And then when I've got approved for this one, there is another company called me and they said that I was successful there as well. But I already said to them that I've signed a contract with the company that I'm in now. So they said, okay, well, if anything happens, you know, like feel free to give us a call and we will always take you, which was so nice of them. And then the 5th aged care already contacted me when I already got my job, and they offered me an interview. But I said I already got the job. So the reason why I'm telling you all of that is that when you're a graduate, okay, you're completely newbie, you have no experience or anything like that, do not be afraid to apply to places without having any experience. Some people think that if you have no experience, nobody will take you. No, 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 they will take you. Of course, you might have some refusals along the way, you know, but that doesn't mean that other companies will not accept you. Like, from my experience, I'm just telling you, 5 companies that I applied, and I only applied for 5, you know, they all contacted me, and I've been accepted by all 5 of them. So that's just my example to you, my true example that you can get a job. So so that's been happening for me with work employment. Then when I got this job, I started to work as RN there, and so that was mid of January, and then we are now mid of May. So in the end of April, I've got a call at work from a private number, and I didn't pick up at first. They've left like 2 missed calls because I was so busy, you know, and then closer to my lunch break I had a little bit of time, and I answered it, and it was a call from the QLD Health, and they said to me, are you still interested in a grad position? And I was like, yeah, I am. And they said, okay, we're offering you in such and such hospital, such and such ward, and you're starting in 2 weeks. I was like, okay, 2 weeks? And they were like, yeah, you started in 2 weeks. Like, are you agreed to do that? And I was like, sure, I just need to let my employee know. But yeah, and then the person said on the phone, oh, and you first starting as to have 2 weeks of intensive training in Royal Brisbane Women Hospital, which is in the city, and then after 2 weeks you will be back to your designated hospital where you will have your 12 months of contract. And I was like, okay, cool. And then the person said to me, I'll send you all the paperwork that you still need to fill in, you know, send it to us. It's just a normal standard process, you know, and we will see you in the training. I was like, okay. So they called and gave me 2 weeks time to notify my employee and because I was employed not as a casual at my aged care, but as a permanent part-time, I needed to strictly follow the law, because here you have to notify at least 2 weeks in advance, unless you're casual, you know. And I just got this call, and now I have exactly 2 weeks. So I needed to speak to my manager, you know, and the next day I spoke to my manager and I said this and this happened, you know, and they knew that I have applied for a grad position, because when they were interviewing me to accept me for this job, they knew that I applied for my grad position with hospitals. So they knew at some point I will be either leaving or having like 2 jobs at the same time. So I spoke to my manager and I said, you know, this and this happened, you know, I'm starting in 2 weeks, you know. So I said, can you please give me 2 weeks leave, because I will be on a training, and then once my roster will be settled in a hospital where I will be in, I will be picking up some shifts with you guys, and I will be in a hospital. My hospital amount of shifts is 7 shifts per fortnight, okay, and we are allowed to pick up to 9 and a little bit more if we want. So I work shift work, which means I have mix of AM shifts, afternoon shifts and night shifts. But night shifts are not at this moment yet, because we're grads. They want to keep us safe in the beginning, and they said that they will start giving us night shifts maybe after 3 months or so. Okay, so now I only do early mornings and afternoons until 11 o'clock. So yeah, so I spoke to my manager and she was like, yeah, sure, no worries. So I had my training in Royal Brisbane Women Hospital, and it was so cool, but at the same time really stressful as well, because what was happening is they said that this training is intensive, like intense for a reason, because it was really intense. So we had every day would start from a theory So from morning until about 12 o'clock, we would have like lots of theory, okay? And that theory would be just going through the whole degree of your bachelor, okay? Pretty much like everything, okay? In kind of highlights, you know, to just refresh ourselves and all of that. And then after that, we will have lots of practicals. Practicals like, sorry guys, I need to close the window. And then you would have lots of practicals, like you would have a lot of simulations in a place similar to labs. If you're starting or studying, if you're starting to study nursing, or if you've already been studying nursing for some time, you probably know how the labs look like in a university, right? You have this like a lab kind of setting that is representing the hospital setting, and then you will have your mannequins there that you actually practice on, and they would have like poles, you can do IV lines, you can do all of this, like all these fancy mannequins now are so expensive and so cool, and they literally like humans. So we had similar rooms there that we would do a simulated practice, you know, and most of these simulations and scenarios were about someone like literally dying, either from like a hypoglycemia or a stroke or MI or anything like that, you know, or anaphylactic reaction to something, you know, for example, to some certain antibiotic running through the IV line, and the person was, let's say, allergic to penicillin, and nobody checked it and gave them penicillin through the IV line, and that person is like having this allergic reaction to it, you know, and you have to act upon it. So you go in and the whole class watch you, like they would pick a group of people going into there, they have a camera there, and then the rest of the class, we were like about 30 people, would be watching on a big screen, you know, and not judging or anything like that, but just watching. And then when the whole scenario is finished, you know, you save the person, the group will come back to the class, we will sit in a circle and we would discuss, you know, what we have done wrong, what we have done right, and all of that, you know. And it was really cool, and we would have a lot of scenarios like that. Then we would be tested, we would be showing first practical, for example, on basic life support, and then we see how it's been done by the teacher, and then next we will be practicing it and they will be assessing us. So every day, oh, and we had a calculation, medication calculation exam as well. So we had it like in online, then we had it as well in practical in a class, you know, on a paper. We were able to use formulas and calculators to count and all of that. But yeah, so pretty much every day was theory, practice, testing. It's just like exam, testing, exam, testing. It's like I remember my first week, we had 4 days. My first week, by the end of it, I was so stressed. I felt like my mind, my brain was going to just explode from the level of information that we were going through, and also from the stress and pressure as well, you know. And when a lot of people watching you, when you are assessed at the same time, you know, it was really hard. Everyone were really nice, the assessors, you know, coordinators, they were really lovely. Oh my gosh, like they were so patient with us and so encouraging. What I like about healthcare system in general here in Australia is that even the ward that I'm working now, everyone are so encouraging. It's really great team environment. Nobody judge you for a level of knowledge that you have. Nobody judge you or like look at you in a funny way if you don't know something, or if you are about to do a mistake. They will correct you in a nice way and make you feel that you are learning. They will encourage your learning as well, so that you don't feel like you've been put down for not knowing something and have this kind of like a discouragement feeling, you know. So this is what I like. I really like how people here supporting you, you know, because if you look at it like that way, we all started from somewhere. When I used to be an AAN, like a carer, I remember when I had in my old HQ facility students coming to us, and I would be their buddy, you know, on a buddy shift. So I would need to be they're kind of like a leader through the shift, teaching them, showing them things, you know, correcting them. And I remember when I was just starting as a carer, for me it was very, very important so people could treat me nice and well and encourage me to continue. Because when you just start something new, you're terrified, you're just so scared, you under stress and pressure might even forget things that you know. You know, so people in healthcare, in hospitals, who work with me, they understand that, because they all been there before. They know that when you're scared, you're forgetting things. It doesn't mean that you don't know it. It doesn't mean that you've been a sucky bad student in a uni and you were like pulling your grades from pass to pass, you know. No, it just means that you're so freaking out at the moment because you're looking after a live person and you just don't want to make a mistake, and you're just literally forgetting normal things that after a few minutes later, when your mind is calm and the stress level is down, you will remember it right away. You know what I mean? So this is the experience that I've got through the training. This is the experience that I've got now from my first weeks of working in a hospital as a grad RN, and I really appreciate it, and I'm really grateful to all these people for supporting us like this, because this is very important for us newbies to have this support so we could be encouraged to be better nurses, to learn more, and, you know, be safe as well at the same time. So yeah, and then after 2 weeks of training, last day of it, we were sent to our designated hospitals. So we had an kind of like an orientation day, which was only like for a few hours, and then we were sent to the wards. And I remember, like, from all about 30 people that we were in Royal Brisbane Hospital, I had 5 of us went to my hospital where I work now. And I remember us girls, we came in the morning, you know, sitting in a cafe waiting for our clinical coordinator, and like thinking, oh my god, I hope they're not gonna send us to the floor, because we had just this crazy 2 weeks of training. Our minds are just literally about to explode, you know. We are so tired, because the whole training during the 2 weeks, it was full 8 hours, and it was paid, which was really cool, you know. So you would sit there in a hospital for 8 hours doing theory and then exams and simulations and all of that, you know, and then you go home, you know, and the next day you have to repeat it again and again. So this last day on Friday, we were sent to our hospital. I remember we were just sitting, so, oh, I hope we're not gonna be sent to the floor. I hope it's just gonna be like orientation the whole day. Maybe they will let us early a little bit, but no, it doesn't, like, nothing cold. They will let you go home early, okay? Because now you're employed, they pay you for it, you know, and that's your 8-hour shift. You're not going home early, okay? You're not a student anymore. So after a few hours of orientation, you know, we've been sent to the floor for the rest of the shift, and we were like, oh my god. So of course we didn't have any handover of the patients, because we've missed the handover in the morning. So we were just like put into the ward, you know, enjoy. Here is your designated body, you know, this person will be with you, you know, in the whole shift. So ask questions, see how the ward is running and stuff like that. So when I was sent to my ward, the first person I went to was my NAM. And he showed me around. He'd done like a fire safety walk and all of that, answered all my questions, you know, and then I was already with the other nurse, you know, just doing things. And I don't know how to explain it, but the first thing when I went on the floor after being with my NAM, like the first thing when I went to the floor with my nurse, you know, I just started doing things. I don't know, it just came naturally. Maybe because I never had this stop break from studying nursing, being on a placements all the time, then moving on from that to working in aged care as a registered nurse, you know. So I never had this break of not doing anything in nursing. So when I went to the floor, I just thought, okay, yeah, let's give medication, because now I'm not a student, I can give medications, you know. I need to still do my pincher check, you know, like your anticoagulants, your insulins, your opioids and all of that, you know, with the other nurse. But anything else I can still give. I can still look after the patients, you know, I can still do the OBS and documentation stuff. And I just rolled in and I just started doing things and I was like, what's going on? I'm just like, it was so like natural to me to just go, and that anxiety kind of and tiredness just went away. Like the whole environment was new and I was excited and stuff, and I was just so surprised to myself, like my hands were just doing things, you know. I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, that was good. I really liked that day. Okay, I didn't mention, so I'm working in a medical ward. Okay, in my hospital we have a few medical wards. I'm working in a general medicine ward, and then we have few acute medical wards. So the deal for my 12 months contract will be, I will be practicing in this ward for 6 months, and then after 6 months I will be offered to rotate to a different medical ward. Okay, also after 6 months I will be taught how to cannulate as well. Woohoo! I want to learn how to cannulate. Okay, so we will do that. And during these 12 months, what's happening when you become a grad RN, so you have 9 modules. I will have 9 modules starting from 31st of May, which is the end of this month. Okay, each module will be given time to complete, which is 4 weeks, which means 1 module per month. Okay, so each module will have a certain amount of questions that you need to answer by writing and then submitting it by the end of the month to your clinical coordinator. Okay, and then plus to these 9 modules you will have 1 essay, which is 3,000 words. This one needs to be referenced. The answers to the modules do not need to be referenced, but your essay of 3,000 words, you will need to reference it as if you would do the same when you would study at uni. Okay, then you will have another assignment, which is a written piece as well, but it's only 1,500 words. So I believe essay is due after first half a year, and then or maybe the end, and then assessment probably, like one of them would be due after every 6 months, so twice a year you will need to do it. And then also you will have 2 practical assessments where your assessor will come on a shift any picked day. They will pick a day. I don't know whether they will inform you that they come in on a particular day, or they will just come like, hello, ta-da. And they will come in the morning. If you are doing your AM shift, they'll come in the morning and watch you through the handover, then through the whole shift of what you're doing to the patients, you know, and until the end, and just pretty much assess you. But they gonna be your second nurse to check if you need to do your pincher check medication, if you need to do the cares, you know, bed cares or whatever to the patients, if you need to liaise with the doctors, you know, they can actually help you. They will be like your second nurse that you share the patients with. Okay, and then this assessment will happen 2 times as well. Okay, so I think it's like a first half a year and then second half a year. So this is pretty much what's happening to you during the grad program. You're not just working in a hospital, you are also studying. But now your studying is not through the uni, now your studying is through the hospital that you are employed at. Okay, so basically now it's my 2nd year now of studying. Well, it's like 4th year of studying again. And then after that, what our facilitators said, they said to us, look, we are here to, which I really like, they said, we are here to employ you as grad nurses, but we are also here to keep you. Our intention is to keep you after this grad year. If you show yourself safe, as a safe practitioner, we are more than happy to keep you here when your contract is finished, unless you would want to move somewhere else. Okay, so they said to us that for most of the grads from last year, only 4, I think they had 70 or 80, something like that, only 4 left to different facilities, the rest left. I work in a ward with 2 girls who just finished the grad year a month ago, and they now continue working at the same ward as normal employees. Okay, so they stayed in a hospital, which is really, really cool. So again, they're not there to fail you. That's why I'm saying that healthcare system here is very supportive, very, very supportive. And this is just my message to you, because I've been a student like you are now. I've been scared. I thought that, oh my god, going somewhere without experience is so freaking scary, but here they are to support you, okay? Nobody want to fail you, especially after going through all that hard work that many of us have done through the uni. You know, we've been safe practitioners through the placements, you know, so we can do that, you know, and they understand that as well. So this is what's pretty much been going on in my life at the moment. Oh, also I forgot to mention that after I've got my roster at my work, so my roster at the hospital is different, okay? It's gonna be different all the time. I think my battery is finishing, so I have like about a minute or two. So my roster at my hospital is shift work, so every 2 weeks my roster is changing. So I will have different shifts, I will have different days, you know, amount of 7 shifts will be the same all the time per fortnight, but it will be always different days, okay? At the moment, they're not giving us weekends, they only give us Monday to Friday. So what I've done is I'm doing my 7 shifts at the hospital, and then I've changed myself to a casual at my HK facility, because I really love the company and I didn't want to leave it, because I'm learning heaps in HK and I'm learning heaps in a hospital. They are completely different systems and very interesting in its own way. So I've changed to casual at my work, and I'm picking up the shifts there when I can. Usually it's on a weekend, the pay is better, you know, and if I feel bored, you know, or whatever, or like we have lots of rains now, so I'm taking sometimes shifts at my work as well in HK. So yeah, I'm pretty happy at the moment with what's going on in my life. I have a lot of things to learn. I'm still very scared, but at the same time I'm so happy for what I have reached, you know. And yeah, I just wanted to share with you. In my next video, what I want to do is I want to compare what I'm doing in hospital as a registered nurse and what I'm doing in HK. I think it will be interesting for you guys to know what's your responsibilities and tasks that you have to do in these different healthcare settings. So tune to that. Hopefully I will film it soon, maybe even today, and I will edit it and I will show it to you guys. And if you will have any questions, always feel free to ask me in the comment section below. For now, I'll see you next time. Bye!